Hello, welcome to the Lexington-Fayette County Health Department. I'm Communications Officer Kevin Hall, and I'm joined by our Commissioner of Health, Dr. Kraig Humbaugh. First, we're going to take our masks off. We are both fully vaccinated and have cleared this with each other to make sure we're comfortable so you can hear us a little bit better as we talk about this important information for caregivers about the new pediatric vaccine for ages 5 to 11 years of age. Now, Dr. Humbaugh, prior to joining a career in public health, spent about 10 years as a practicing pediatrician. So today he's not only talking to you as the Commissioner of Health, but he's really bringing that pediatric experience of talking with caregivers about some difficult to understand information and some very serious information, but helping you relate to it because it is so important that kids who are eligible for this vaccine get it to be protected. Dr. Humbaugh, thank you for taking this time today to talk to the people of Lexington and Central Kentucky about this.
Well, thanks, Kevin. I'm glad to do it.
The first thing, we'll get right into this, is do children ages 5 to 11 need to get this vaccine?
Well, Kevin, the short answer is yes, they do need to get the vaccine. Younger children are recommended to get COVID-19 vaccine, and now it's been approved for ages 5 through 11 years. And this is only one product has been approved, the Pfizer vaccine. This is a 2-dose vaccine series given at least 21 days apart. And it's really the same product that we've been giving to adolescents and adults, but it comes in a more dilute form, and we're giving a smaller dosage to children of this age group.
One of the things for those of you watching that we want to try to keep this as broad as possible, we do have specific vaccination clinics coming up here at the health department for these age groups. But if you're watching and can't get to the health department, or you're in a different community, talk to the people where you're at. Talk to pharmacists, medical providers, your pediatrician, or your health department. Go to our website, LFCHD.org, so you can find out the latest information on how you can get this vaccine for your children. And the good thing is with this vaccine, we have it available for all age ranges that have been approved, but right now we're just talking about ages 5 to 11 because we know caregivers have so many questions about this vaccine, about the safety and effectiveness, which we'll get to. Dr. Humbaugh, can you talk a little bit for people about why it is so important for caregivers to take advantage of this and get the free vaccine for ages 5 to 11?
Sure. Well, first of all, vaccine provides the best protection for your children against COVID-19. And although we know that children in general don't usually have a severe case of COVID-19 as often adults do, there have been cases, and there are children who have been hospitalized due to COVID-19 or even died. Unfortunately, COVID-19 has become one of the top 10 causes of death for children. Many folks or adults may not know that. And of course, we're also worried about long-term side effects that some children may be experiencing after COVID-19 infection. So that's one really good reason, is to protect your child. A second great reason is to protect your family and the community. So children can transmit COVID-19. The vaccination makes it less likely. It reduces their risk of COVID-19 infection. So it can help protect grandma and grandpa, okay? And then third, I think this helps to normalize the child's routine, or the child can now participate more confidently in school, in sports, in other types of activities, knowing that the child's risk is reduced because of the protection provided against the vaccine, or by the vaccine, I should say.
And it's fortunately here in Lexington, none of the 400 plus deaths that we've had since this outbreak began in March of 2020, there have been none in this age range.
None
here
in
Lexington.
Age 5 to 11, but there have been reported deaths in that age group nationwide.
Right, and so it's important for people watching to understand that while we are concerned most obviously with Lexington, this is part of a larger picture, and so there have been kids, unfortunately 5 to 11, who have died from COVID-19 across the country, and we do not want that to happen here in Lexington. We don't want any death from COVID-19. Unfortunately, we have a vaccine that can help. Now, I always wanted I always emphasize this when I'm the one answering the questions with reporters, but it's worth reminding those of you watching that the vaccine isn't 100%. It's not going to, you can still get the vaccine and get COVID-19, but what we have seen over and over again here in Lexington and throughout the country is that by and large, the people who are hospitalized from it have been unvaccinated. The people who are dying from it have been unvaccinated. But you hit something really important about helping kids not spread it to others. We're in school season right now and coming up on Thanksgiving and then the December and January holidays. So think about getting this vaccine now and how that normalization of the routine for these holidays that people missed out on celebrating with families last year.
Yeah, that's a great point, and it does take about 2 weeks or so from the second vaccination to for your body to develop optimal or maximal, the best immunity as a result of the vaccine. So just keep that in mind as you're thinking about protection for the holidays.
So that would be about a 5-week process. So
That's right.
You get your vaccine, the child 5 to 11 gets the vaccine, and then in 3 weeks they can get the second dose, and then you're 2 weeks
out
after that.
You have your best protection then. Yeah.
And you're looking at 5 weeks into.
So this would be a great time to do it, would be in the next week or two, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mentioned this, and it's the question that you hear on social media. You hear people asking about this over and over again. Is the vaccine safe and effective?
Yeah, and it's a great question. So like other vaccines, before authorization, these vaccines, and this Pfizer vaccine for children included, undergo rigorous testing and trialing, and every step of the way the data is analyzed. So that's really important for parents to know that. And they have looked at this, they trialed this vaccine in thousands of children, and they found it to be 90% effective in preventing symptomatic COVID illness, which is great, and safe with very few side effects. So yes, the benefits of this vaccination certainly outweigh the risks.
Excellent. And the final thing, Dr. Humbaugh, if you can talk to the caregivers who give them some advice on if they're bringing their children in to get a shot. First of all, I want to say if you're coming to one of our special clinics, it's really important for you to talk to your kids ahead of time to know if you've got more than one child you're bringing, so you can get them shots in the right order. Maybe the kid who is the most confident at receiving the shot, the less fearful, the needles can go first to show the other siblings like, look, this is pretty painless. It's pretty easy. We have trained staff who can help with that. So first, talk and figure that order out first. But Dr. Humbaugh, if you could talk to the caregivers and what else they can do. Me, for instance, my wife and I, we have a 2-year-old who's not eligible yet. But when that time comes, what are those things that parents can do, caregivers can do to say, this is what to expect?
Yeah, I think this is great insight, Kevin, for the parents. So I would make a plan, sit down with your child or your children, just as you talked about, and talk about the vaccination before the appointment. And be honest with the child about the vaccination, the fact that it may hurt or feel like a pinch, and acknowledge that, children are sometimes anxious about vaccination. Sometimes adults are as well, right? And that give your child some directed options. So, do you want to hold mom's hand? Do you want dad to be there, holding the child? Do you, how do you want this to happen? Do you want to be talking to the vaccinator? Don't give the option of not getting the vaccine. That's why I say give directed options to your children. And that makes them feel like they're more in control as well. So I think those are all good suggestions. And then be honest about the fact that they may experience temporary minor side effects, just like adults and teens after the vaccine. The most common is soreness of the arm where they got the shot, right? But they can also have fatigue or fever, and that could be, they may not experience any of those things, but they also could have those for 24 to 36 hours after the vaccination.
And I think that it's with anything, being upfront, being honest with the children. Children are very perceptive individuals,
Yeah.
way more than a lot of adults we give them credit for. So I think giving that honest assessment of what to expect. And then a tip for you as you come in, whether it's with us or your own provider or pharmacy, let the providers know if there are any fears or anxiety issues from the children or even from the parents with the children, so that they know what to expect going in, because there are things that the shot givers can do to help if they know particularly that this child has a fear or an issue with anxiety on it. Dr. Humbaugh, closing statements, anything you want to leave caregivers with going into this new world of this Pfizer vaccine for 5 to 11 years old?
No, I just encourage folks to get their children vaccinated. Kevin, I think this COVID vaccine is safe and effective. It's now available. Same vaccine, different formulation now available for 5 to 11-year-old children. And this is going to help reduce their risk of COVID, help them to reduce their own risk, but also their risk to other family members, and help them be able to participate in school and other normal activities safely.
Right. You hear it all the time, people saying, when are we going to get back to normal? And this is a huge tool in that toolbox for that return to normalcy. Well, Dr. Humbaugh, thank you for taking the time for this.
Thank you.
For the people watching, whether it's, again, through us, through your own pharmacist, pediatrician, healthcare provider, get the shot for yourself, for your family members, and right now for these kids who are eligible, who are 5 to 11 years of age. If you want to know more from the Lexington-Fayette County Health Department, you can call our call center at 859-899-2222 or visit us online at LFCHD.org, and complete details on how we're providing vaccinations will be found there. Thanks for watching. Share this with your friends and family, and we hope to see your kids very soon.